right now at 7.
Amy, can you talk about the motions to dismiss? Can you give us
comment.
just a quick summary?
New legal demands from disgraced Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes. What a federal judge is now deciding.
I'm excited about doing this.
Plus, we're live as BART's new crime-fighting tool is put to the test.
They're going to be visible.
Flaring always releases toxins.
The evacuations around an East Bay refinery. The neighbors saying they're in constant fear.
I could feel it in my throat. It was an acidic smell and taste.
Plus, the bust in the East Bay that led to tables and tables of stolen power tools. Who police want to hear from tonight.
And why one former Golden State Warrior may want to watch out when he makes his return to Chase Center in just minutes.
I'm a flagrant foul. Flagrant 2.
Like in the first quarter?
As soon as I get a chance.
Right now on KPIX 5 News at 7 and streaming on CBS Bay Area, disgraced Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes challenging criminal charges over her company's blood tests. Good evening, I'm Ken Bastida.
And I'm Elizabeth Cook. KPIX 5's Lynn Ramirez is in San Jose with the move her legal team just pulled.
Well, defense attorneys in this case want the judge to drop charges that there was actual harm done to doctors and patients in this case. The defense team for disgraced former Theranos CEO Elizabeth Holmes argued the federal indictment against her is short on details and a stretch of the federal wire fraud law. In a nearly 3-hour hearing, the defense lawyer argued prosecutors have not named one specific instance where Holmes and/or her co-defendant and former boyfriend Sunny Balwani misrepresented or made false statements to investors, doctors, or patients. Quote, "We don't know which of the marketing materials, statements, or which blood tests are at issue," she said. No one would speak after the hearing. Amy, can you talk about the motions to dismiss? Can you give us just a quick summary?
No comment.
What I know is that I've put the best people in place to be able to investigate every aspect of this and ensure.
Holmes, a Stanford dropout, was once the world's youngest female billionaire, and her company Theranos was a darling of Silicon Valley, once valued at $9 billion. It promised to revolutionize the healthcare industry with claims that its blood analyzer could screen for 150 conditions from just a few drops of blood. But it all began to crumble in late 2014 when news reports revealed the company's technology was faulty and the claims overblown. Holmes and Balwani were later charged with scheming to defraud investors, including seasoned venture capitalists. Today, prosecutors told the judge that there was harm done to doctors and patients who relied on the Theranos analyzer to make critical medical decisions, and that Holmes and Balwani kept on misleading people even after they knew their product didn't work. The judge took the testimony under submission. He will make a ruling at a later date. This trial, now rescheduled several times, is set to begin here in San Jose in July. In San Jose, Len Ramirez, KPIX 5.
This just coming into our newsroom, we just got word of another confirmed California case of coronavirus. This time it's in the San Diego area. According to CDC, the evacuee from China has tested positive, and that makes it the 13th case here in the United States, the 6th in California.
BART taking new steps to address one of the rider's biggest complaints, safety on the system. Tonight is the first night of its new ambassador program. KPIX 5's Andrea Borba is live at the Lake Merritt station with a look at how it works. Andrea?
Well, Elizabeth, this program is so new, so fresh, that just minutes before the press conference where these BART ambassadors were introduced, they were finally handed the shirts with their name on them, officially making them ambassadors and eyes on the BART system. BART riders will notice an extra set of eyes on the train and on the platform for at least the next 6 months. Meet the ambassadors, 10 men and women assigned to make the system safer.
This is the first program of its kind on a transit system in the country.
The ambassadors will patrol on evenings and weekends. They won't have weapons, but will have Narcan for overdoses and a police radio to call for help for a problem they can't solve.
We're going to deploy them with different routes. We're going to put them out in routes where they're going to be on the most trains, the most platforms, so they're going to be visible. And again, this is going to be a second part to the officers that are already out there on the evenings and weekends.
Latifah Davis worked as a BART community service officer for 6 months patrolling parking lots. She's now an ambassador.
And we're just there to help out and provide any service we can. If that's helping with the direction in which BART to get on, if they need help with their Clipper card and where to go, that's what we're there for.
BART PD and BART directors say they understand the public outcries for a safer transit system.
Our riders have spoken clearly that they would like to have a BART presence on the trains and on the platforms.
Now, the plan is for these ambassadors to be walking their entire shift, whether on the platforms or on the trains. They are going to start their day, Elizabeth, out on the edges of the BART system and slowly work their way into the central core of Oakland and San Francisco by the end of their shift as the hours roll by at night.
It's going to be a tough job. Hope the program works. All right, Andrea, thank you.
Well, flaring from the Chevron refinery in Richmond forced a few evacuations today and sent some thick black smoke into the air that could be seen for several miles. This all happened just before 5 a.m. 100 workers inside at the time had to be evacuated as a precaution. Officials say that the smoke drifting in the sky was hydrogen sulfide.
My nostrils started to, I could feel it in my throat. It was an acidic smell and taste.
And some residents did get an alert, level 1 warning when the flaring started. Chevron says that flaring is designed to relieve pressure and actually keep equipment and plants operating safely.
Oakland investigators now telling us more about the man arrested for repeatedly ramming police and tactical vehicles to elude capture. Officers had surrounded 29-year-old Johnny Trujillo last Wednesday. He appeared to be asleep, but suddenly drove through a gap in the police cars. He didn't get very far, driving on the rims of his tires. Inside the stolen car, officers found a gun and $12,000 worth of construction equipment. Police are looking for the rightful owners and say the suspect is well known to them.
He has prior arrest history for multiple firearms-related offenses, multiple drug offenses, and additional property crimes.
No one was hurt in the incident.
San Francisco's public works director has resigned under a cloud of corruption allegations. Mohammed Nuru, arrested by the FBI nearly 2 weeks ago. He's been accused in 5 schemes involving bribery, kickbacks, and the use of city contractors for personal business. Mayor London Breed says in a statement, quote, "We can now move the department forward under new leadership. I will continue to support the full independent investigation underway to uncover any improper actions that were taken and recommend reforms to ensure they never happen again." The mayor indicated that the city was in the process of terminating Nuru at the time he resigned.
A former Golden State Warrior is making his return to the court at Chase Center in just a few minutes. Sports director Dennis O'Donnell is there.
And Elizabeth, Kevin Durant's departure got most of the headlines last summer, but I tell you what, ask anybody in this building, and it's Andre Iguodala's departure that was much harder on the Warrior fan base. Tonight, they'll get a chance to thank Iggy back in the Bay Area, this time as a member of the Heat. The 2015 Finals MVP signed with Golden State before they turned into a dynasty. And for that reason, owner Joe Lacob said number 9, Iggy's number 9, will be retired. He might be done with Golden State, but still spends plenty of time here in the Bay Area.
You experience it in public a lot. You know, I joke with my wife all the time. It's like, you know, when can we go outside and just walk down the street and no one notices us? And she always says never. And my office is like right up the block. But just trying to interact with everybody and just understanding, you know, the last 5-6 years are really special.
Out with the old, in with the new. Say hello to 24-year-old Andrew Wiggins, former #1 overall pick of the Minnesota Timberwolves, now with the Golden State Warriors. How do you view this transition to this organization to help sort of rebuild your career?
I'm excited to be here. You know, this is a winning culture. This organization has been very dominant, you know, these past couple of years. You know, I'm happy to be a part of it.
Great debut the other night, 24 points, like I say, in 31 minutes. We'll see what he does tonight. Ken, Elizabeth, back to you.
All right, Dennis, thank you. Up next, how House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is responding tonight to the president's plan for big cuts to food stamps.
Plus, the alleged campus sexual assault that had hundreds of East Bay High School students walking out of class.
I have a lot of close friends that have gone through similar things like this, and it disturbs me that nothing's been done about it.
Getting to the moon by 2024, do you think that'll happen?
We are hopeful.
How one research center in the Bay Area will play a huge role in NASA's next lunar mission.
And the damage and power outages still lingering tonight after that strong Bay Area wind event.
What are you going to do tonight?
I'm going to clear off the ramp, and we are hopefully going to go home tonight.
I hope so, but it's still going to be windy. I know the winds have relaxed a bit today, but there's more on the way. Well, the other question is there rain on the way? We'll answer both of those. We cover weather in a minute.
And don't forget, we are streaming now on CBSN Bay Area. You can find us on KPIX.com, the CBS News app, or your favorite platform.
Well, hundreds of students walked out of class at Berkeley High School today to call attention to reports of sexual assaults on campus.
Students are protesting the way administrators have handled rape allegations at the school. They're calling for officials to change the campus sexual harassment and abuse policy. Dozens of demonstrators wore red, holding signs that read, "Enough."
I have a lot of close friends that have gone through similar things like this, and it disturbs me that nothing's been done about it.
Anytime any student is reporting an instance of harm or assault, then there's a problem to solve. So we do know that our administrators take those concerns seriously. They investigate.
A student is suing the Berkeley Unified School District for allegedly failing to report or address an attempted rape at the high school. And at a school bathroom, someone wrote, quote, "boys to watch out for" on campus, calling some of the boys rapists.
This weekend, strong winds left behind a lot of damage all across the Bay Area. In Castro Valley, 2 huge eucalyptus trees came down, crashing down, slicing through power lines. One of them landed against the roof of 92-year-old Bruce Thompson's house.
Were you in the house at the time?
No, we're over our neighbors.
Yeah. What are you going to do tonight?
I'm going to clear off the ramp, and we are hopefully going to go home tonight.
Back in the house?
Yes.
Well, PG&E hopes to have power fully restored a little later this evening.
And check out this mess in Livermore. Chopper 5 showing you the damage from a tree that fell right into an apartment complex. No word if anyone was hurt. Brian, it was really blustery out there.
Yeah, it sure was. On Sunday especially. That's extraordinary video. That tree just ripping a gash in the roof of that house. There are wind advisories posted again tonight. So we're not done with it yet. The winds, while they eased up today, will pick up a little bit overnight, especially in the higher elevations of the North Bay, which is why they have issued wind advisories for that part of the Bay Area. Highs today unusually warm in some spots, like in Santa Rosa. We set all-time record highs. That's 79. That beat a 2018 record. That's after a low of 35. Tonight, Santa Rosa gets down to 40, in Napa 41, and in Fairfield 44 degrees. As offshore winds just continue, the low pressure is now sunk into Southern California. It is right over Ensenada, and that's whirling moisture into the Southland. San Diego had rain today. For us, we're expecting a clear night, windy in the hills, especially again up in the North Bay. Sunshine for Tuesday. They'll be mild and warm again tomorrow, maybe not quite as warm, and then a gradual cooling will begin in midweek. Boy, we're looking for rain, and we're just not finding any. High temperatures for tomorrow are going to be well above average. San Francisco is usually at 60, but the forecast high is 68. That's 8 degrees above average. Most locations, as you can see here, between 8 and 11 degrees above normal for this time of the year. So, bit of a heat spell, such as it is, continues into Tuesday. In Mountain View tomorrow, we'll hit 67 degrees, 70 at Milpitas and 71 in San Jose. Los Gatos up to 69. And in Half Moon Bay, 67 degrees. Over in the East Bay, we've got plenty of sunshine on the way. 72 for Vallejo and along the Carquinez Strait. 72 at Benicia and 71 degrees at Concord. Pleasant Hill, 71 degrees. Plenty of sunshine bay-wide tomorrow. And the visibilities are crackling clear, and 76 at Santa Rosa. 76 for Petaluma and 74 for Sonoma. Tomorrow in San Francisco, 68. And in Oakland, it will be 70 degrees. For Ukiah and Lakeport and Windsor, the numbers in the mid-70s for the most part. In the extended forecast, we will cool it down. By the time we get to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the numbers come back down into more seasonal readings. But that's the only thing coming down. There's no rain in the forecast. It's possible that on Sunday we get a drop or two. We'll watch that, but it certainly doesn't seem like it's coming together as a big rainmaker. So the paucity of rain in February is going to continue for at least another week. Liz.
Thank you, Brian. Well, here's what you missed if you're just getting home right now. Voting gets underway in just a few hours in New Hampshire in the nation's first presidential primary in 2020. Tracking polls in the Democratic contest show a tight race between Senator Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg. In closing speeches, Sanders is attacking rivals for taking money from wealthy contributors, while Buttigieg is trying to cast doubt on how Sanders would pay for Medicare for all. Meanwhile, President Trump has now put out a proposed budget for the next fiscal year. He wants to increase military spending by more than $2 billion and allocate another $2.3 billion for a border wall. The proposal also calls for cuts in Medicaid, food stamps, student loans, and farm subsidies.
We're putting out a plan today that over a period of not that long a period of time brings our budget and our deficit down to what it should be, which is close to zero.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeted, quote, "The Trump budget is the latest in a long line of attacks the president has carried out on the health and economic security of hardworking Americans." Tonight, the Justice Department says spies from the Chinese government were behind one of the biggest hacks in U.S. history. 4 members of the Chinese military have been charged in the Equifax breach. Nearly 145 million Americans had their personal information stolen in the massive 2017 hack. Ken?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Coming up next, a state lawmaker trying to pass a bill that would force you to vote.
If they force people to vote, it's going to be like jury duty, and people are going to hate it even more.
Eye-catching parts are the fluctuations that are happening here, where the booster's attached to the core stage.
So the Bay Area scientists using special technology to help get a man or woman back on the moon. And then later, the new breed of canine competing this year at the Westminster Dog Show.
We celebrate the right to vote in this country, but at what point does it become an obligation?
Yeah, one assembly member in Marin wants to make voting mandatory. He'll introduce a bill that would require all registered voters to cast a ballot in every election in the area where that person lives. Now, the ballot can be a partial one or even blank, but it must be cast. And if you fail to do so, you will be penalized.
If they force people to vote, it's going to be like jury duty, and people are going to hate it even more. We're not supposed to hate to vote. We're supposed to enjoy it.
I'm from Costa Rica, and I think it's an obligation of any citizen to come and vote. Even though they don't want to vote for anybody, they just vote for nobody. But it's an obligation to be a part of society.
Keep an eye on that bill.
A rare behind-the-scenes look tonight at the Bay Area technology helping with the next mission to the moon. Researchers at NASA Ames are designing and testing the Space Launch System rockets in their wind tunnels. They're hoping to meet President Trump's deadline and send astronauts back to the moon by 2024.
Well, I'd say NASA's up to the challenge, and we just appreciate the continued support of the country.
And fingers crossed?
Fingers crossed, yes. It's a very difficult challenge.
The president asked Congress to increase NASA's budget to $25 billion. Of that, NASA Ames will get about $750 million.
Coming up next, a new dog breed now competing to become best in show. Westminster Dog Show underway in New York. After 144 years, it's grown to 2,600 dogs from 19 countries. But this year, organizers have introduced a new breed to the competition. This is the Ozoak. And originally from South Africa. Tonight, Best in Group will be awarded. Tomorrow, Best in Show.
The little curlers in the hair and the
free dog food forever.
Amazing. I look forward to it every year. See you at 11.